Hello, lawn lovers. Today we are going to be talking about POA. So let me show you a few things about spraying out POA and what I did. Some areas of my lawn, I have recently found out, are generously endowed with POA. POA is a lighter green grass. POA in my yard was encroaching that way, so this spring I sprayed out a bunch of patches here. You can still see some thin spots, and then I reseeded it with an elite type of rye. What I wanted to show you, here's something that you have to be aware of when you are spraying out POA, and that is it can come back, even if you give it a Roundup dose. Now, I may not have gotten a full dose here. Maybe that's why it came up. I don't really know. I was just using as much as I had on the spots that I found, but this was completely dead in the spring and early summer. It got a lot of heat. Now this area of my yard is irrigated, so it did not dry out and die. That's why the surrounding grass looks still alive. But probably about 3 weeks ago, some of these sprigs started coming back. So there's a few things that you have to do to make sure that your POA doesn't come out. First of all, you need to spray it in early spring because glyphosate works when the plant is growing, and you need to be hitting this stuff when it's growing because POA is extremely smart. It will go dormant during the summer if it's too hot. Then it will look like it's dead. But then when the conditions come back and it gets come back to good and it wants to come back, it comes back with a vengeance. So if you spray it while it's dead and dying, the glyphosate is going to go to the ground. It's going to become inert, and you're not actually killing the plant. You might kill some of it. You'll kill some of the good grass around it, but you're not actually killing the POA. So you need to do a multi-prong attack on this stuff. You need to spray it once in the spring. Make sure that's when it's growing. Maybe even throw some fertilizer down to get the plant growing and taking up the glyphosate. Then you need to do a second or maybe even third application. You want to make sure that you're using a percentage of about 3%. Some concentrations can be lower, so you want to make sure that it's either pre-prepared at 3% or mixing it at 3% if you're doing it yourself. So I'm going to spray this again. The kids we're not going to be at the house for a little while, so this is a good time to put glyphosate down in the play area. So here's another area that didn't come back quite as strong, but it's definitely still there. And some of these, I can just pick up myself and do it like that. But some of the areas I do need to spray out to make sure that my POA farm out there does not keep encroaching onto areas over here where I want to keep this nice bluegrass, ryegrass texture here. So that's it. That's my helpful tips on POA and spraying it out. Make sure you do it multiple times. Make sure you're doing when it's growing, and make sure you have the appropriate concentrations. All right. Enjoy that lawn care.